When single dad Marcus Webb heard a baby crying in a dark alley, he could have walked away. Instead, he took 3 knife wounds protecting a mother and child he had never met. What happened next changed thousands of lives and proved that one moment of courage can transform the world forever. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. It was 2 a.m. The streets were empty. Marcus was tired. His body ached from 12 hours of hard work. But he smiled thinking about his son, Danny. His beautiful 6-year-old boy waiting at home. 3 years ago, Marcus's wife Lisa had died giving birth to their second child. The baby did not survive either. That night, Marcus lost everything except Danny. He made a promise at Lisa's grave. He would be the best father in the world. He would give Danny all the love 2 parents could give. Money was tight. Very tight. Marcus worked 2 jobs. Days at the factory. Nights cleaning offices. He barely slept. His hands were rough and scarred. His back hurt constantly. But none of that mattered. Danny had food. Danny had clothes. Danny had love. Tonight, Marcus had $40 in his pocket. Tomorrow was Danny's birthday. He would buy a small cake in the toy truck Danny wanted. It was not much, but Danny would be happy. That was all Marcus needed. As he walked down the dark street, Marcus heard something. A woman crying. Then a baby screaming. Marcus stopped. He looked around. The sound came from the alley ahead. Every instinct told him to keep walking. This neighborhood was dangerous at night. Getting involved could mean trouble. But the baby's cry cut through him like a knife. He thought of Lisa. Of the baby they lost. Marcus ran toward the alley. What he saw made his blood freeze. A young woman was on the ground holding a baby. She was maybe 20 years old. Her face was bleeding. She was terrified. 3 men surrounded her. They were laughing. One held a knife. Another held her purse. Please, the woman begged. Take everything. Just don't hurt my baby. Please. Shut up, one man snarled. He kicked her. The woman screamed. The baby cried louder. Marcus did not think. He just moved. Leave her alone, he shouted. The 3 men turned. They looked at Marcus. Then they smiled. Like wolves seeing prey. Walk away, old man, the one with the knife said. This is not your business. I am making it my business, Marcus said. His voice was steady but his heart was pounding. Let her go. Take my money. Just leave them alone. The leader laughed. Your money? Look at you. You probably have $20. We want more than that. He moved toward the woman again. The knife gleamed in the streetlight. Marcus charged. He slammed into the man with the knife, knocking him down. The knife skittered across the wet pavement. Run. Marcus yelled at the woman. Get your baby and run. But the other 2 men grabbed Marcus. They were younger. Stronger. They threw him against the wall. Pain exploded in his back. A fist hit his face. Then another. Marcus tasted blood. But he kept fighting. He threw punches. He kicked. He fought like a man who had nothing left to lose. Because he did not. If he died here, Danny would be alone. But if he let them hurt that mother and baby, he could never look at his son again. The woman was trying to run. She held her baby tight. But the leader had gotten up. He grabbed her hair. She screamed. Marcus saw red. Pure rage filled him. He broke free from the 2 men and threw himself at the leader. They fell together, rolling on the wet ground. The knife. Marcus saw it on the ground. He reached for it. So did the leader. They both grabbed it at the same time. They struggled. The blade turned. Twisted. Then Marcus felt it. Cold steel sliding into his stomach. Once. Twice. 3 times. The pain was unlike anything he had ever felt. Fire and ice at the same time. He fell back gasping. The 3 men ran. Their footsteps echoed in the alley, then disappeared. Marcus lay on the ground. Rain fell on his face. He could feel his life bleeding out onto the cold pavement. The woman crawled to him. She was crying. Oh God. Oh God. What did you do? Why did you help us? Marcus tried to smile. His voice was weak. Because someone had to. Is your baby okay? She looked down at her infant. The baby was crying but unharmed. Yes. Yes, he's okay. Because of you. Good, Marcus whispered. That is good. His vision was getting blurry. He thought of Danny. His sweet boy. Who would wake up tomorrow excited for his birthday. Who would wait for his daddy to come home. Danny would wait forever. Please, Marcus gasped. My son. Danny Webb. 412 Maple Street. Someone needs to tell him. Someone needs to take care of him. Please. I will, the woman sobbed. I promise. I promise. Stay with me. I am calling for help. Marcus heard sirens in the distance, but they sounded so far away. He felt cold. So cold. His last thought before darkness took him was of Danny's smile. Marcus woke up to bright lights and beeping machines. His whole body was on fire. He tried to move but could not. Daddy? Danny's face appeared above him. His son was crying. Behind him stood an older couple, the Johnsons, their neighbors who sometimes watched Danny. Danny, Marcus croaked. His throat was dry as sand. You are alive. They said you might die. Danny was sobbing and smiling at the same time. The doctor came in. She looked serious. Mr. Webb, you are very lucky. The knife hit your intestines and liver. You lost a lot of blood. We had to operate for 6 hours. Marcus tried to process this. 6 hours. How long have I been here? 3 days. You were in a coma. 3 days. Danny's birthday had passed. Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. He had missed his son's birthday. The surgery was expensive, Mr. Webb, the doctor continued. Very expensive. Over $150,000. And you will need more procedures. Physical therapy. Medications for months. The number hit Marcus like another knife. He had $200 in the bank. No insurance. No savings. He was ruined. I cannot pay that, Marcus whispered. I have nothing. We know, the doctor said gently. But someone has come forward. Someone wants to help you. The door opened. A young woman walked in. She was the one from the alley. But she looked different now. Clean. Bandaged. Carrying her baby. Mr. Webb, she said softly. Her eyes were filled with tears. My name is Sarah Chin. This is my baby Andrew. You saved our lives. Marcus shook his head weakly. I just did what anyone would do. No. Sarah's voice broke. No one else did. Dozens of people walked past that alley. They heard me screaming. No one helped. No one except you. She came closer to his bed. I need to tell you something. My husband is David Chin. He owns Chin Industries. We are wealthy. Very wealthy. Marcus did not understand what this had to do with anything. Those men, Sarah continued, they were not random thieves. They were hired. By my husband's business partner. A man named Richard Cross. He wanted to hurt David by hurting me and Andrew. It was revenge. A business deal that went bad. She paused, tears flowing freely now. You did not just save us from robbery. You saved us from murder. Those men were supposed to kill us. But you stopped them. A stranger. A man who had every reason to walk away. Sarah pulled out a paper. I am paying all your medical bills. Every dollar. And I am setting up a fund for you and Danny. For his education. For your future. You will never have to worry about money again. Marcus wanted to refuse. He had his pride. But he looked at Danny. His son needed stability. A future. Marcus could not give him that on his own. I will pay you back, Marcus said. Every dollar. I promise. No, Sarah said firmly. You gave us something money cannot buy. You gave us our lives. Let me do this. Please. Over the next weeks, Sarah visited every day. She brought toys for Danny. She read stories to him while Marcus slept. She became a friend. But Marcus noticed something. Sarah was scared. She would jump at sudden noises. She would check the door constantly. Something was wrong. One night, after Danny fell asleep in the hospital chair, Sarah told Marcus the truth. Richard Cross is still out there, she whispered. The men you fought, they ran away. The police never caught them. Richard is angry that his plan failed. Very angry. What does he want? Marcus asked. Revenge. Against my husband. Against me. And now? She looked at Marcus with frightened eyes. Against you. You are the reason his plan failed. He will come for you. I know he will. Marcus felt ice in his stomach. My son. He will go after Danny? I do not know. But Richard is dangerous. Very dangerous. He has connections. Money. Power. Then we need to stop him, Marcus said quietly. How? The police cannot touch him. He covers his tracks. We have no proof. Marcus thought hard. Pain medication made his mind fuzzy, but he pushed through it. You said he hired those men. There must be evidence. Phone records. Money trails. Something. Even if there is, how would we find it? I do not know yet, Marcus admitted. But I will not let him hurt my son. I will not let him hurt you and Andrew. We will find a way. Sarah looked at him with something like wonder. You almost died. You are still in a hospital bed. You have every reason to walk away from this. But you are not, are you? No, Marcus said simply. Because that is not who I am. That is not what I want to teach my son. Marcus left the hospital 4 weeks after the stabbing. He could walk but barely. Every step hurt. But he had work to do. Sarah had hired a private investigator. A man named James Lockwood. He was expensive but good. Very good. They met at Sarah's home. It was huge. Danny's eyes went wide when he saw it. Marcus felt out of place in his old clothes, but Sarah made them feel welcome. David Chin was there too. He was a quiet man with kind eyes. He shook Marcus's hand firmly. Thank you for saving my family. I owe you everything. You owe me nothing, Marcus said. But help me stop Richard Cross. That is all I ask. They sat around a table. James Lockwood spread out papers and photos. Richard Cross is smart, James began. He hides his crimes well. But everyone makes mistakes. I have been investigating him for 2 weeks. I found something. He pushed a photo forward. It showed Richard meeting with a rough-looking man in a parking lot. This is Vincent Reyes, one of the men who attacked Sarah and Andrew. I tracked him down. He is scared. Hiding. He knows Richard wants him dead for failing. Can we make him talk? David asked. Maybe. If we offer him protection. And money. Everyone has a price. Over the next days, James worked on finding Vincent. Meanwhile, Marcus did his own investigating. He went back to the alley where it happened. He talked to people in the neighborhood. Most would not talk. They were scared. But one old woman, Mrs. Rodriguez, told him something important. I saw those men before that night, she whispered. They were here 3 days earlier. Watching. Waiting. They were planning something. And I saw them talking on the phone. Taking pictures of that alley. They were not random criminals. They were professionals. This confirmed what Sarah suspected. It was a planned hit. Marcus reported this to James. Every piece of information helped. Finally, James found Vincent. He was hiding in a motel 2 cities away. James arranged a meeting. But Vincent refused to talk unless he met the man who had stopped him that night. He wanted to meet Marcus. It is too dangerous, Sarah protested. Vincent could be working with Richard. It could be a trap. Maybe, Marcus said. But it is our best chance. I have to try. The meeting was set up in a public place. A crowded diner during lunch hour. James would be there, armed and watching. David hired security guards to blend in with the crowd. Marcus sat in a booth, his heart pounding. His stomach still hurt from the knife wounds. But he kept his face calm. Vincent walked in. He looked thin, scared. His eyes darted around nervously. He sat across from Marcus. For a long moment they just stared at each other. You almost killed me, Marcus said quietly. You should have died, Vincent replied. His voice shook. That was the plan. Kill the woman and baby. Kill anyone who interfered. Richard's orders. Then talk. Tell the police. Put Richard away. Vincent laughed bitterly. And then what? I go to prison for life? Richard has people everywhere. Even in prison. I will be dead in a week. Not if you have protection. Witness protection. A new life. A way out. There is no way out from Richard Cross. Marcus leaned forward. Listen to me. I have a 6-year-old son. He almost lost his father. Sarah has a baby who almost died. How many other people has Richard hurt? How many more will he hurt if we do nothing? Vincent looked down at his hands. You do not understand. Richard is not just some criminal. He has connections. Politicians. Judges. Police. He owns this city. Then we burn it down, Marcus said. We expose all of it. But we need your help. Vincent was quiet for a long time. Finally he spoke. Richard keeps records. Insurance he calls it. Information on everyone he works with. Everyone he bribes. It is his protection. He has it all on a computer. In a safe in his office. Where? Marcus asked. His import business. Cross shipping. The office on the docks. But you will never get to it. The place is like a fortress. Marcus smiled grimly. Let me worry about that. You just need to testify when the time comes. Will you do it? Vincent looked at Marcus for a long time. This man who had almost died protecting strangers. Who was still fighting, still risking everything. Yes, Vincent finally said. I will testify. But you better keep me alive. I will, Marcus promised. Getting into Richard Cross's office was going to be nearly impossible. But Marcus had an idea. I worked security for 5 years before the factory job, he told the group. I know how these systems work. We just need to get past the guards. There are cameras. Motion sensors. Alarms. David said. He had been researching the building. Even if we get in, how do we open the safe? Marcus looked at Sarah. You said Richard's partner wanted revenge because of a business deal. What happened? David answered. Richard cheated him. Stole $3 million. Then destroyed his reputation. The man's name was Thomas Grant. He lost everything. His business. His family. Last I heard, he was living on the streets. Find him, Marcus said. If anyone wants to hurt Richard as much as we do, it is him. They found Thomas Grant in a homeless shelter. He was thin, dirty, and broken. But when they told him their plan, his eyes came alive. You want to take Richard down? Thomas asked. Really take him down? Yes, Marcus said. But we need information. Do you know anything about his security system? His safe. Thomas smiled. It was not a happy smile. I helped him design that system. I know every camera, every alarm, and I know the combination to his safe. He never changed it. Too arrogant. Will you help us? Thomas looked at Marcus. You are the man who saved that woman and baby. I read about it. You almost died. Yes. Why are you doing this? You could just walk away. Be with your son. Live the comfortable life David Chin is giving you. Marcus thought about Danny. About the kind of man he wanted his son to become. About the world he wanted Danny to grow up in. Because someone has to stand up, Marcus said. Because evil wins when good people do nothing. Because I want my son to be proud of his father. Thomas wiped tears from his eyes. I will help you. Let me help destroy the man who destroyed me. They planned for a week. Every detail. Every possible problem. The plan was risky. Dangerous. If they failed, Richard would kill them all. But they had no choice. The night came. Marcus, James, Thomas, and 2 of David's security guards approached the warehouse. It was midnight. Dark clouds covered the moon. Thomas led them around the back. He knew exactly where the cameras were, where the blind spots were. They moved like ghosts. The back door had an alarm. But Thomas knew the code. His fingers moved quickly on the keypad. The door opened silently. Inside, the warehouse was dark and quiet. Shipping containers were stacked everywhere. Richard's office was on the 2nd floor. They moved carefully. Thomas pointed out motion sensors. They avoided them. Step by step they got closer. Then they heard voices. 2 guards were walking their patrol route. They were coming toward them. Marcus signaled everyone to hide. They pressed themselves behind containers. The guards walked past just feet away. Marcus held his breath. His stomach wound ached. Sweat dripped down his face. The guards passed. They kept moving. Finally they reached the office door. It was locked. But Thomas had brought tools. He worked on the lock. Seconds felt like hours. Click. The door opened. Richard's office was large and expensive. Paintings on the walls. A massive desk. And behind the desk, a safe built into the wall. Thomas went to the safe. His hands shook as he entered the combination. Marcus watched the door, his heart pounding. The safe opened. Inside were files. Computer drives. Documents. Everything they needed. Grab it all, Marcus whispered. They filled a bag with everything. Thomas also copied files to a USB drive. Backup. Just in case. Then they heard footsteps. Running. Someone was coming. They know we are here. James hissed. We need to go. Now. They ran for the stairs. Behind them, shouts erupted. The guards had found them. Marcus and the others raced down the stairs. His wound screamed in pain. But he pushed through it. They burst out the back door. An alarm was blaring now. Lights flooded the warehouse. Run! Marcus shouted. They ran into the night. Behind them, guards poured out of the building. Some had guns. Shots rang out. Bullets hit the ground near Marcus's feet. He kept running. His lungs burned. His legs felt like lead. They reached their van. Jumped inside. Tires screeched as they drove away. More shots. The back window shattered. Everyone ducked. But they made it. They escaped into the night, the evidence safe in their hands. Back at David's house, they opened the files. What they found was worse than anyone imagined. Richard Cross was not just a criminal. He was the head of a massive network. Drug trafficking. Human trafficking. Money laundering. Bribery. Murder. The files had everything. Names. Dates. Bank records. Photos. Video. Even recordings of Richard giving orders to kill people. This is enough to put him away for life, James said, his eyes wide. To put dozens of people away. But there was more. Among the files was something that made Marcus's blood run cold. A folder labeled loose ends. Inside were photos. of Sarah and Andrew, of David, of Vincent Reyes, and of Marcus and Danny. Richard had been planning to kill them all. Every single person who knew about his involvement. He was just waiting for the right moment. "We need to go to the FBI," David said. "Now. Tonight. This is too big for local police. Some of them are in these files." Marcus looked at the photos of Danny. His sweet, innocent boy. Richard Cross had been planning to murder his son. Rage filled Marcus. A rage he had never felt before. "Yes," Marcus said. "But we do it smart. We make copies. Multiple copies. We send them to journalists, to federal prosecutors, to everyone. If anything happens to us, the truth still comes out." They worked through the night, copying files, sending emails, making sure the evidence was everywhere. At dawn, they went to the FBI building. They brought everything. The agents who met them could not believe what they were seeing. "This is the biggest corruption case in the state's history," one agent said. "We need to move fast. Richard Cross will know you took these files. He will come for you." "We know," Marcus said. "That is why we need protection. For all of us. Especially our children." The FBI moved quickly. By noon, agents were raiding Richard Cross's businesses. His home. His warehouses. They arrested over 40 people. Police officers. City officials. Business owners. The corruption ran deep. But Richard Cross was gone. He had disappeared. "He must have been warned," the FBI agent in charge said. "Someone tipped him off. He is in the wind." Marcus felt his stomach drop. As long as Richard was free, they were all in danger. "We will find him," the agent promised. "We have every airport, every border crossing being watched. He cannot hide forever." But days passed. Then weeks. No sign of Richard. Marcus, Sarah, and their families were put in protective custody. Federal agents guarded them day and night. They could not go home. Could not live normal lives. Danny was scared. He did not understand why they had to hide. Why his father was always tense, always looking over his shoulder. "Daddy, when can we go home?" Danny asked one night. Marcus held his son close. "Soon, buddy. Soon. I promise." But Marcus did not know if that was true. As long as Richard was out there, they would never be safe. 1 month after Richard disappeared, Marcus received a phone call. A known number. Against his better judgment, he answered. "Hello." "Hello, Marcus." The voice was smooth, cultured, and full of hatred. "Richard Cross." Marcus's hand tightened on the phone. "Where are you?" "Somewhere safe. Somewhere your FBI friends will never find me. I just wanted to call and thank you." "Thank me?" "Yes. You destroyed my life. Took everything from me. I had power. Wealth. Respect. Now I am a fugitive. So thank you for that." Marcus kept his voice calm. "You destroyed yourself. You are a monster. You hurt innocent people. You deserved everything that happened." Richard laughed. It was a cold sound. "Innocent? No one is innocent, Marcus. You think you are a hero? You're just a fool. A man who got lucky. What do you want, Richard? I want you to understand something. You may have won this battle. But the war is not over. One day when you least expect it, I will come back. And I will take everything from you. Your son. Your friends. Everything you love. And you will die knowing you could have avoided all of this if you had just minded your own business that night." The line went dead. Marcus stood there shaking. Not with fear but with rage. He called the FBI immediately. They traced the call. It came from somewhere in South America. But by the time agents got there, Richard was gone again. "He is taunting you," the FBI agent said. "Trying to scare you. Do not let him." But Marcus was not scared for himself. He was scared for Danny. For Sarah and Andrew. For everyone he loved. That night Marcus could not sleep. He sat in the dark thinking. Richard was out there. Watching. Waiting. This would never be over. Not really. Unless Marcus finished it. He made a decision. A dangerous one. But necessary. The next morning Marcus told Sarah and David his plan. "You are insane," Sarah said immediately. "You want to use yourself as bait? To draw Richard out? He will kill you." "Maybe," Marcus admitted. "But it is the only way. As long as he is out there, none of us are safe. We need to end this." "The FBI will never allow it," David said. "Then we do not tell them. Not until it is too late to stop us." James Lockwood spoke up. "I will help you. I have contacts. People who can help set the trap." Thomas Grant nodded. "I am in too. Richard took everything from me. Time to return the favor." Sarah looked at Marcus with tears in her eyes. You have already given so much. You almost died. You do not have to do this. Yes, I do, Marcus said gently. I have a son. I want him to grow up in a world where he is safe, where monsters like Richard cannot hurt people. The only way to guarantee that is to stop Richard. Permanently. They planned for a week. The trap was simple. Marcus would leak his location. A place where Richard could reach him. Where there would be no FBI protection. Just Marcus, alone and vulnerable. Richard would not be able to resist. The location they chose was an abandoned factory on the edge of the city. Far from anyone. Isolated. Perfect. Marcus leaked the information through one of Richard's old contacts who had turned. The man agreed to tell Richard where Marcus would be. Then they waited. 2 nights later, Marcus sat alone in the dark factory. He was scared. More scared than he had ever been. But he thought of Danny. Of the life he wanted to give his son. That made him brave. He heard a car pull up outside. Doors opening. Footsteps. Richard Cross walked into the factory. He was not alone. 3 men with guns surrounded him. Hello, Marcus, Richard said, smiling. Thank you for making this so easy. Marcus stood slowly. His hand moved to his pocket. Hello, Richard. I have been waiting for you. I know. This is a trap. You think I am stupid? But I do not care. Killing you is worth any risk. You are right, Marcus said. This is a trap. But not the trap you think. Lights suddenly flooded the factory. FBI agents poured in from every direction. Dozens of them. All with weapons drawn. FBI. Drop your weapons. Get on the ground. Richard's men dropped their guns immediately. They knew they were surrounded. Outgunned. But Richard just stood there, staring at Marcus with pure hatred. You, he hissed. Me, Marcus said calmly. It is over, Richard. Finally over. Richard lunged at Marcus, his hands reaching for his throat. But FBI agents tackled him before he could reach Marcus. They pinned him to the ground, handcuffed him. As they dragged Richard away, he screamed. I will kill you. I will kill your son. I will kill everyone you love. No, Marcus said quietly. You will not. Because you will never be free again. Richard Cross was taken away. This time there would be no escape. The trial was national news. Richard Cross and 43 other defendants faced hundreds of charges. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for only 4 hours. Guilty. On all counts. Richard Cross was sentenced to 8 consecutive life sentences without possibility of parole. He would die in prison. The other defendants received long sentences too. The entire corruption network was destroyed. Marcus sat in the courtroom as the verdict was read. He felt no joy, no satisfaction, just relief. It was finally over. After the trial, life slowly returned to normal. Or as normal as it could be. Sarah and David wanted to do something special for Marcus. Something bigger than just paying his medical bills. You gave us our lives, Sarah said. Let us give you yours. They offered Marcus a job. Not as a security guard. As head of security for Chin Industries. Real money. Benefits. A future. Marcus accepted. It was time to stop struggling. Time to give Danny the life he deserved. But Sarah did not stop there. She started a foundation. To help single parents. To help people like Marcus who worked hard but could never get ahead. I want to honor what you did, she explained. You showed me that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. That courage and kindness matter more than money or power. I want to spread that message. Marcus became involved in the foundation. He shared his story. He inspired others. He showed people that one person could make a difference. Slowly the wounds healed. The scars remained, both physical and emotional. But they were reminders. Reminders of what he had survived. What he had fought for. Danny was 11 now. Smart. Kind. Brave. Everything Marcus had hoped he would be. They lived in a nice house now. Nothing fancy but comfortable. Safe. Danny went to a good school. He had friends. He was happy. Marcus still worked for Chin Industries. He was respected. Valued. But more importantly, he had time. Time to be a father. To attend Danny's soccer games. To help with homework. To just be there. Sarah and David had become like family. Andrew and Danny were best friends. They had playdates every week. One Saturday afternoon, Marcus was watching Danny play soccer. Sarah sat beside him, Andrew on her lap. Do you ever think about that night? Sarah asked quietly. The night you saved us? Marcus nodded. Every day. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had just walked past that alley. If I had kept going. You would have missed your son's birthday, Sarah said. You would have had money in your pocket. You would not have these scars. True. But Andrew would be dead. I would be dead. Richard Cross would still be hurting people. The corruption would still exist. She looked at Marcus. You changed everything. Not just for us. For hundreds of people. The foundation has helped over 1,000 families now. All because you decided to be brave for 2 minutes. Marcus felt emotion rise in his throat. I was not brave. I was terrified. Bravery is not the absence of fear, Sarah said. It is doing what is right despite the fear. You taught me that. On the field, Danny scored a goal. He looked at Marcus and waved, his face shining with joy. Marcus waved back, his heart full. I would do it again, he said softly. All of it. Every painful moment. Because it led to this. To Danny being happy. To you and Andrew being safe. To making a difference. Sarah squeezed his hand. I know. That is who you are. Danny graduated high school with honors. Marcus sat in the audience, tears streaming down his face. His son was going to college. The first person in their family to ever go. After the ceremony, Danny found Marcus in the crowd. He was tall now. Almost a man. We did it, Dad, Danny said, hugging him tight. No, Marcus said. You did it. I just supported you. You did more than support me. You showed me what it means to be a good man. To stand up for what is right. To protect people who cannot protect themselves. Danny pulled back, his eyes serious. I have been thinking about what I want to study. What I want to do with my life. What is that? I want to be a social worker. I want to help families like ours. Single parents who are struggling. Kids who need support. I want to make a difference like you did. Marcus could not speak. He pulled Danny into another hug and just held him, crying. Everything he had been through. Every sacrifice. Every painful moment. It had all been worth it. Because he had raised a son who wanted to help others. Who understood that life was about more than money or success. It was about making the world better. That evening there was a celebration at Sarah and David's house. Friends. Family. People whose lives Marcus had touched over the years. Thomas Grant was there. He had rebuilt his life. He now worked with the foundation teaching business skills to people starting over. Vincent Reyes was there too. After testifying, he had entered witness protection. Eventually, when Richard was safely in prison, he had been able to come back. He now worked in construction and volunteered helping at-risk youth. James Lockwood was there. Still a private investigator, but now he only took cases helping people, not corporations. They all gathered around Marcus. These people whose lives had intersected because of one violent night 10 years ago. I want to say something, Sarah announced. Everyone got quiet. She looked at Marcus, her eyes shining. 10 years ago, a man I had never met threw himself into danger to save my son and me. He did not know us. He had every reason to walk away. But he did not. Her voice broke. That choice changed everything. It saved lives. It destroyed a criminal empire. It inspired a foundation that has now helped over 5,000 families. It showed the world that ordinary people can be heroes. She raised her glass. To Marcus Webb, the bravest man I know. Thank you for everything. To Marcus, everyone cheered. Marcus stood there, overwhelmed. He had never wanted to be a hero. He had just wanted to do the right thing. To protect people who needed protecting. But looking around at all these faces, all these lives he had touched, all the good that had come from one moment of courage. Maybe he was a hero after all. Marcus was 52 now. His hair was gray. His body showed the years of hard work. But his eyes were still sharp and kind. Danny had become an amazing social worker. He had helped hundreds of families over the years. He had gotten married to a wonderful woman named Maria. They had given Marcus 2 grandchildren. Marcus held his youngest grandchild, a baby girl named Lisa, after his late wife. He rocked her gently, tears streaming down his weathered face. She looks like your mother, Marcus whispered to Danny, who stood beside him. She does, Danny agreed. Mom would be so proud of you, Dad. Of everything you built. Everything you became. Marcus looked around the room. It was the 20th anniversary gala for the Sarah Webb Foundation. Yes, Sarah had insisted on naming it after Marcus, even though he had protested for months. The foundation had grown beyond anything Marcus had imagined. They had helped over 15,000 families now. Single parents. Struggling workers. People who just needed a chance. They had built shelters. Job training centers. Scholarship programs. Medical clinics. All because Marcus had decided 20 years ago that a mother and baby were worth saving. Sarah walked over, her own son Andrew beside her. Andrew was 27 now, a lawyer who worked on civil rights cases. He spent his career fighting for people who had no voice. "Marcus," Sarah said warmly, "there is someone here who wants to meet you." A young woman approached. She was maybe 25, with kind eyes and a nervous smile. "Mr. Webb," she said shyly. "My name is Jennifer Torres. You do not know me, but your foundation saved my family when I was 5 years old. My mother was sick. We had no money, no hope. Your foundation paid for her treatment, gave us a place to live, helped my mom get a job." She paused, emotion choking her voice. "My mother is alive today because of you. I graduated from college because of you. I just became a doctor because of you. I wanted to say thank you. For everything." Marcus felt his chest tighten. This was why he had fought. Why he had bled. Why he had risked everything. "You do not need to thank me," Marcus said gently. "You and your mother did the hard work. You survived. You succeeded. I just helped open a door." "But you opened it," Jennifer said, tears flowing. "That is what matters." Throughout the night, person after person came to Marcus. Each with a story. Each with a life that had been touched by what he had done. A single father who had been homeless but now owned his own business. A teenage girl who had been in foster care but was now studying to be a teacher. A mother of 3 who had escaped an abusive relationship and rebuilt her life. As the night wound down, Marcus stood on the balcony looking out at the city lights. Danny joined him, holding baby Lisa. "Dad," Danny said quietly, "do you remember what you told me when I was little? After that night when you saved Sarah and Andrew?" Marcus shook his head. "I said a lot of things. I was scared. Hurt. You said that the world is full of darkness. But all it takes is one light to push it back. One person deciding to be brave. One moment of courage." Danny looked at his father. "You were that light, Dad. You pushed back the darkness. And you taught thousands of other people to do the same." Marcus looked at his son. His grandson in Danny's arms. Sarah and Andrew laughing with guests inside. All the people whose lives had been changed. He thought about that rainy night 20 years ago. When he had heard a baby crying in an alley. When every instinct told him to walk away. When choosing courage over safety had seemed impossible. "I was just a tired factory worker," Marcus said softly. "A single dad who could barely pay rent. I was nobody special." "That is the point, Dad," Danny said. "You were ordinary. And you showed everyone that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. That heroes are not born. They are made in moments when we choose to act instead of turning away." Marcus smiled. "I just did what any father would do. What any decent person should do. But most people do not," Danny countered. "Most people walk away. You ran toward danger. You bled. You fought. You changed the world." Inside, Sarah was calling for Marcus. It was time for his speech. Time to address the crowd. Marcus walked to the podium. Hundreds of people looked at him. Waiting. He thought about what to say. About the journey that had started with 3 knife wounds and ended here. About the pain and fear and struggle. About the victories and defeats and lessons learned. Finally he spoke. 20 years ago I made a choice. I heard a baby crying. A mother screaming. And I decided to help." His voice was steady. Strong. "I did not think about being a hero. I did not think about consequences. I just thought about an innocent child who needed protection. A mother who needed help." He paused. "That choice cost me. I almost died. I have scars on my body and my heart. But that choice also gave me everything. Purpose. Meaning. A reason to fight." Marcus looked around the room. Every person here has that same power. The power to choose courage over fear. Action over apathy. Love over indifference. You do not need to be rich. You do not need to be powerful. You just need to be willing. Willing to see suffering and respond. Willing to risk something to help someone else. His voice grew stronger. "The world tells us to look out for ourselves. To protect what is ours. To walk away from other people's problems. But I am here to tell you that is a lie. We are all connected. Your suffering is my suffering. Your joy is my joy. When I save you, I save myself. When I lift you up, I rise too." Marcus felt tears on his face. 20 years ago, I saved a mother and baby. But the truth is they saved me. They gave me a reason to be more than I was. To fight for something bigger than myself. And every person this foundation has helped has done the same. You have saved me every single day by showing me that hope is real. That change is possible. That love is stronger than hate. He looked directly at Sarah and Andrew. "Thank you for letting me save you. Thank you for saving me right back." The room erupted in applause. People were crying. standing, cheering. But Marcus was not thinking about the applause. He was thinking about a rainy alley, a baby's cry, a choice that changed everything. He looked at Danny holding baby Lisa, at all the faces in the crowd, at the lives that had been touched and changed and saved. One choice, one moment, one ordinary man deciding to be brave. That was all it took to change the world. As Marcus left the stage, a young boy approached him. He was maybe 7 years old, with big eyes and a shy smile. "Mr. Webb," the boy said, "my mom says you are a hero. Is that true?" Marcus knelt down to the boy's level. He thought about how to answer, about what this child needed to hear. "No," Marcus said gently. "I'm not a hero. I'm just a man who tried to do the right thing. But you know what? You can be a hero too." "Me?" The boy's eyes went wide. "How?" "By being kind when others are cruel. By standing up when others stay silent. By helping when others walk away. Heroes are not special people. They are ordinary people who make brave choices." The boy thought about this. Then he nodded seriously. "I can do that." "I know you can," Marcus said, ruffling his hair. "I believe in you." As the boy ran back to his mother, Marcus stood slowly. His body ached. His scars hurt. But his heart was full. Danny came over, still holding baby Lisa. "Ready to go home, Dad?" "Yes," Marcus said. "I am ready." They walked out together into the night. Father and son. 3 generations. A family built on love and sacrifice and courage. Marcus looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there he imagined Lisa was watching. His beautiful wife who had given him Danny. Who had taught him what it meant to love completely. "I did good, Lisa," he whispered to the sky. "I kept my promise. I was enough. More than enough." And for the first time in 20 years Marcus felt complete peace. Because he had not just survived. He had lived. He had mattered. He had made a difference. A single father who bled protecting strangers had shown the world what true heroism looked like. Not in grand gestures or superhuman strength, but in the simple choice to care, to act, to love. And that had changed everything.